Oh, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and today we are going to be talking about a player that we haven't really talked about for quite some time, but it's definitely a guy we need to keep on our radar. It's a guy we need to be following, and it's a guy that we need to keep talking about because he really deserves that. You know, he doesn't deserve to fade into obscurity at all. He deserves to, stay in the spotlight a little bit until he eventually and hopefully, gets that next shot. And that is obviously Nisqy. This guy had a very, very weird last year or so, ending up at Fnatic, having overall a pretty good year. People were really, really impressed with the strides that Nisqy made from Cloud9 to Fnatic, even when people already thought he was pretty damn good at Cloud9. And then Fnatic was going into Worlds with a lot of expectations, a lot of hype. People thought they were going to do great. Obviously, we got the whole upset drama, some Whippo drama, all the weird stuff that happened, and Fnatic kind of flames out at Worlds. But then there was a lot of people like, okay, well, that sucked, but, let's just run it back. Let's actually see what would happen next year. But obviously, Fnatic had different issues. They ended up going with Humanoid. I don't think too many people had an issue of Fnatic grabbing Humanoid over Nisqy, but still, that left Nisqy in a really weird spot without a team. So in this video today, we just need to talk about what the future might have in store for him. And I'll give you my pick for what I believe might be the most likely team that Nisqy ends up on, or at least the team that should hit up Nisqy. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. And subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. I think we're at like 9909 subscribers at the time that I'm recording this. So let's try and get it to 9910. That would be awesome. We'll get a little closer to 10,000. But with that being said, let's get right into this one. So the reason that I bring this up in the first place, and the reason why I even want to talk about Nisqy, is this clip here. This is a very, very popular clip. 77,000 views on this Wholesome LOL channel, only 3,800 subs. But, he had this really big clip. Obviously, you can see the title here. Nisqy hits rank 1. This is like after one of his games. He's making sure, hoping that he gets enough LP to hit rank 1.
Plus 21!
And he gets plus 21 LP. That's crazy. He is, like rank 2, I think, when he's playing this game, and he gets plus 21 LP. Like, dude, what the heck? I'm getting, last season, especially when they started messing with all the LP and stuff, I'm getting like 14 LP for wins at times. And that's way lower than, rank 1 challenger. He's getting 21 at rank 1. That's crazy. But yeah, he gets 21 LP there after he goes 6-2-10 on Ahri. And then you see there, obviously, he hits rank 1. So yeah, pretty crazy and pretty impressive. Obviously, he's not playing pro play, so he has a little bit more time to grind. He has a little bit more time to, play solo queue, hardcore, try hard. This is his main thing right now: content creation and grinding and trying to get back on top. It does suck for him that he's over in EU now, especially with Challengers queue coming out in North America. That's like supposed to be the better in-house system and an awesome opportunity for players to really showcase their talents and all that stuff. Not that Nisqy necessarily needs to do that, but it's just like, I think that would be a perfect place for guys like Nisqy and Jensen to, just spam a bunch of games on there, especially on low ping and stuff. But he did hit rank 1, which is obviously very, very impressive. Shows that he's still taking the game very seriously, that he's still grinding. I'm sure he's upset, mad, angry, whatever that he's not in a team. But, he's not letting it discourage him. Here's his account right now. This is Nisqy looking for team rank 1 with a 57% win rate. He's played, 350 games. So yeah, I mean, this man is grinding. Really, really good win rates on all his champions. Akshan, Twisted Fate, 67, LeBlanc, 65. Akali, not the best, only 52, but Vigar, Silas, Zillion, he's playing a little bit of everything. Recently a couple Vigar games, he's doing really, really good. He's popping off. Obviously, everyone will say that EU solo queue is a pretty good solo queue as well. So to be rank 1, you got to be doing pretty well. You got to be popping off. You got to be playing pretty good. Yes, it is still early season, but we're like a month into the season at this point. You can't just call it like early season abusing or something like that for too long. We're a couple weeks into the season. This is Nisqy hitting rank 1, which is really, really cool. But that got me thinking, hey, when are we going to see Nisqy back in the LEC? We've already seen one guy who was not on a team make it onto a team. Mickey going from G2 to Excel in just the middle of the season, like week 3 or something. We thought we'd see most moves between spring and summer. And I do still think we'll see a lot of moves between spring and summer with guys, like Nisqy, like Jensen, like I talked about, some other names out there, Ignar, Sven Skaren. There's just kind of names all over the place. Advian is now kind of a free agent or whatever. So I don't know when we're going to see Nisqy back. I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. I still think between spring and summer is going to be a big time. But where is he going to end up? I was thinking about the LCS at first. Obviously, Nisqy was on Cloud9 a couple years ago. LCS fans really like him. LCS mid lane isn't exactly the strongest position in the world. There's a lot of teams that could use him or like him, but you got to remember, Nisqy's obviously a good player. He's obviously a decently big content creator. He's one of these guys who, one, wants to play for at least a decent winning team, and also is going to demand a decent contract as well. So not every team is necessarily going to be able to meet that. When we look at FlyQuest, I don't really see FlyQuest happening. Obviously, they just got Takoyi. He's kind of their project mid laner. He's a younger guy. He's cheaper. He's doing decent so far too. We'll see how that goes in the future. TSM, they got Kaiduo. I'm still not super sold on Kaiduo as being the mid laner for the future, but I don't think TSM's given up on that anytime this season, especially not for Nisqy. Golden Guardians, they have a Blaze Olive resident. I think he's pretty decent. CLG, I don't think that Nisqy would want to go to CLG or that CLG would necessarily be interested either. Cloud9, I don't really see them moving on from Fudge. Obviously Fudge is kind of like their franchise guy. I think he has like 4 years on his contract now. Fudge and LS are buddies. And hey, this is, again, their new project guy. Now, maybe Fudge wants a role swap or whatever, but they have Summit. It makes it really hard for it to move around. And obviously C9 would need to open up an import slot as well for Nisqy. So I don't really see C9 happening. TL, I also don't really see happening. There is some world where this year goes bad and Bjergsen wants to leave TL. I don't know, maybe this year goes good and Bjergsen is just still like burnt out and doesn't really want to return to pro play or whatever after all. I still think TL would probably go after Jensen before Nisqy in those circumstances. 100 Thieves and Immortals, I don't really think either of these teams make sense. Abadage, Power of Evil, like, yes, you could argue that Nisqy's better than Power of Evil, but is Immortals going to go out and spend the money to go get him and use an import slot? I don't think so. Dignitas, EG obviously has Jojo Pune, they're not making a move anytime soon. But I do think that Dignitas actually could be an interesting option, especially if Dignitas continues to overperform and continues to impress. I don't know if Dignitas has the money or if Nisqy would be willing to come to Dignitas. But if you have Dignitas with River, Neo's been looking pretty decent. Biofrost is looking like one of the better supports in the LCS, through a couple games. I don't know. I think Dignitas with Nisqy on it actually could be a little bit interesting, could be a decent team, and something that could be interesting to see. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if Dignitas has the money. I don't know if Nisqy would be interested. But if Dignitas keeps winning and they keep being impressive and they keep showing up, I don't know. I really think that's the only team in the LCS that really even makes sense at any time this season. Again, in the future, who knows? Maybe Cloud9, maybe TL. But for now, Dignitas. Over in the LEC, I don't think there's a ton of teams that make sense either, and that's what really, really makes this hard, especially, if the LEC doesn't want to expand. But if the LEC expands to 12 teams in 2023, hey, Nisqy, all of a sudden has a shot. Maybe a K-Corp comes calling, maybe a Koi, maybe a Heretic, something like that. But Misfits, obviously they have Video, he's not going anywhere. SK, I think Nisqy's better than Certus, but does Nisqy want to go to SK? Does SK want to spend the money for Nisqy? I don't think so. Team BDS could be interesting. Nuclear Int has been pretty decent and solid, and I think Grabs is interested in coaching up a young team over time. But we also know BDS is, an ownership group with some money, and an ownership group that probably wants to win, relatively soon in the future. And hey, maybe they decide Nisqy is their guy over Nuclear Int in like a year, maybe sometime next year. Again, I don't think that's a move that's happening this year, but if they're able to make some moves in the offseason, Nisqy could definitely be a part of their team in the future. Astralis, I don't wish that on Nisqy. Vitality, they're not going away from perks. Excel could be interesting. Again, I don't know if that's a team that wants to spend the money or if Nisqy would go to them, but you have Nisqy, Mickey, you start putting together a real decent, core there for Excel that could maybe build in the future. Fnatic, not happening. G2, not happening. Rogue, not happening. I really think that between the LEC and the LCS, Mad Lions is the team that makes the most sense. This team is very, very talented. Obviously, they are the back-to-back defending LEC champs. I think Unforgiven has been really strong to start the season. Obviously, I think Elyoya and Kaiser are beasts. I'm still not completely sold on Arma. I don't really believe in a lot of the hype with him. I don't think he is great. I think he's good, but I think Mad Lions is trying to be great, and I really don't think Arma is great. But Reeker, has really underperformed and not impressed me. You know, when we look at some of the LEC stats so far to start the season, I don't know what all you guys can see and can't see, but, you know, in terms of KDA, he is 4th lowest in the league. You know, that's not too bad. But in terms of a lot of the laning stats, gold differential at 10, Reeker is 2nd to last. XP differential at 10. Reeker is 2nd to last again. CSD at 10. Reeker is dead last. Now, it is kind of interesting that, hey, in terms of DPM, you know, he actually does decent. He's 4th highest DPM in the league, but obviously that can depend a lot on champions and compositions and game times and stuff like that. But damage percentage, he's 2nd lowest in the league. And in terms of just overall gold share into their mid laner, Reeker is dead last in the league. So I think that's very, very interesting. You know, he's not doing very well in lane. He's not getting a lot of gold onto him. He is doing decent DPM, but, you know, overall, he's kind of a lower KDA, a low resource player who's not getting huge leads in lane, who's not really creating a lot for himself. And I do think that, you know, maybe he'll keep developing, maybe he'll get better, but at least right now, he's probably holding Mad Lions back a little bit. And I think Nisqy would be a significant upgrade. And I actually think Nisqy fits in perfect with Mad Lions, because how you see here, Reeker's not getting very much gold onto him. You know, he has the lowest percentage of gold of any mid laner in the LEC. And we know that Nisqy thrives in those low gold environments. You know, he is not a high resource player. He's not a resource reliant player. So, you know, I think that he could fit in really, really well there. And he could maybe be really successful on this team. And I think Nisqy would be a very, very interesting and big pickup for Mad Lions. And again, right now, if I tried to guess and say that Nisqy was going to end up on any team in 2022, you know, like I said, it's going to be a team that has to have at least a decent amount of money. It's got to be a decent team. And it's got to be a team that needs some help in the mid lane. I really think Mad Lions, potentially Dig, but way, way, way more likely Mad Lions is really the only team that fits that bill and the only team that I think I could see Nisqy ending up on in 2022. But I really think they're a team that should reach out to him. I think Mad Lions gets instantly a lot better with Nisqy in the mid lane, especially with how tight and competitive the LEC is this season. And, you know, Mad Lions has been a little bit up and down to start the year. But I don't know. Pretty much every video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so, so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know where you think Nisqy is going to end up or should end up in 2022, 2023, wherever, whenever. I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. I hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.